Hello everybody, my name is Edwin Floyd. I'm on the Cancer Chat project, which is group 16. And I think moving along here for Sprint 9, I'm going to go ahead and give a report of the work that we've been doing here. So we'll go ahead and start with Taiga, which has all of our tasks here. And we'll go ahead and start with Duck. Duck has been working on adding some error code for responses that we get in JSON. So if we're asking for something, but the something that we're asking for is a list or an array or JSON array, and that happens to be empty, right now there's not too much information other than some very basic information. So Duck here is working on improving those results that we'll be getting back. He's also working on updating the controller classes for the existing Node API, controller class for the existing code API. So doing some good work there. And he's also looking to update the model classes for all of this existing Node API. And so Duck has been, along with Marcus, pretty instrumental in keeping the database up to speed and updating it as necessary for the various API calls that are going to have to be built out, and also with the communication back and forth between the API and the database. And so this is the work that Duck has been working on for the past couple of weeks. You can see that in our GitHub, you can see we have our database and our AWS here, which is where Duck has been doing a lot of work, and also probably in the REST API. But yeah, that's this is our Cancer Chat repository, and Marcus started this nice little page that I'm pretty sure Duck has also been updating to. We got this cool web page that shows the API calls and how to get those API calls. And if I scroll down here, you can click on something that you're interested in if you want to learn how to do that API call. I've got information here on how to do that. So that's some neat work that's been getting expanded upon as we've been cruising through the work that we're doing here. And so we'll go ahead and move from Duck and move up to Marcus here. So with Marcus, we've got him, he's started this potential mentor matches API. And what this should be is so our app is a Cancer Chat app. It's meant to be sort of like a Tinder app, but for people that have cancer, that are looking not just for dating, but also looking to perhaps talk with other people, looking for somebody has a new cancer and they might be scared. They can talk to a mentor that'll help them, guide them through treatments or various aspects that go along with being diagnosed. Or if they've had it for a while and they're pretty well versed in how things go for a particular type of cancer, they can look to mentor somebody else who may be coming up new and scared, and so be able to provide some advice and help support along those lines. So this mentor matches is meant for somebody who's looking for a mentor. So it's typically a mentor-mentee relationship, and so a mentee would be looking to match up with a mentor, and this would be able to return results for a user that's interested in that sort of thing. We've also got him here is updating the REST API build instructions, which is good. I mean, this is going to be something that is going to be needed for anybody who's going to be maintaining the code here, the code base. Knowing how to build the API is going to be an important part of any kind of maintenance that's going to need to be done over the course and the life of this application. He's also working on adding a distance function here. So he's adding a distance function to my SQL, and this is going to be involved with taking the latitude and longitude of a person, and then there's a setting in the mobile applications that allows a user to determine what sort of radius area they would be looking for from a starting location. So we can send a latitude and a longitude to the API, and then what Marcus is working on here is being able to calculate a distance out from that point and then look for users. Then we would be able to look for users that are within that radius that could be served up to the user who's using the app to try to find somebody in a particular location. Many of the social apps have the same sort of thing, like Tinder and those sorts of apps. This is pretty self-explanatory. He's adding tests here, and we've also got these two verification for attempts to thwart any kind of fraud or misuse of the app. And so, and he's included some pictures here that I can show, but he is, one way is to be able to do this with a phone number, and so being able to get a text message, and then another way is to be able to do this with an email. And this is specifically verifying an email and then verifying a phone request. And so the apps that he sent, or the pictures that he sent, I should be able to get those from here. Let's see if I can hide my okay, and then so we can bring up the what's this called? Slack. So we've got Slack here, and he's got some pictures we can include here. So here he's using Postman to send an API request to the API. Here we can see he's got a phone number and the location information, and then we can show that he gets a response back that shows that the verification was successful, and then he's got a screenshot here of his message text message that actually went to a phone. So that should be really helpful with the misuse of the app, which was something that the sponsor stated was something that they were pretty interested in trying to get resolved, because their current application, which is a web application, has some of these issues, as Braden mentioned in the last sprint report. Okay, so that takes care of Marcus, and we've done Duck. Okay, and so yeah, now we'll move on to me. And so bringing back up our Taiga, I've been working primarily on two tasks that have to do with implementing the chat functionality in the Android application side of things. I believe Braden's working on that too, but we'll get to his stuff here shortly. But yeah, so we've got these two tasks that I've been working on. So we can go ahead and start with the create recycler view. So specifically for Android, we've had to do some get a little bit creative here and implement what's called a recycler view, which allows a same page to be used over and over again. But instead of talking specifically about a recycler view and the adapter implementation, we can go ahead and just show some of this functionality. So actually what I'll do here is go ahead and show the code here. So this is, I've created some dummy data that is being used in the application These are fake text messages. In lieu of using the API just yet, waiting for the API messages to go ahead and do some testing and development specifically with the API. But prior to using the API, went ahead and just added some text messages that I could use for my own testing here. So here we have some messages that get put into a list, and then they'll eventually end up going into an adapter that we have over here. This chat adapter here, and this is where we handle the logic of the text message. And so what I'll do is I'll just go ahead and run it here, and you should be able to see what it is that we're talking about. So you can see that the app is on it. It's coming up here shortly. Just give it a second. But yeah, making use of the adapter and the recycler view specifically for chat information. So what we have here is the login. This is actually accessing the API and pulling this user. I was also able to create this user through the API, so this is some communication that's already happening with the API. I can go ahead and I can log in there, and general interface here. You can see we can like somebody or we cannot like somebody, and we have some user information over here that'll pop up, and we've got the user, all of his settings. We've got some cancer types and some that sort of things. This stuff can all be changed. But the specific part we're getting to here is like somebody that this user might be interested in, and so I've created some fake users here as well. So we can see that we have some users here. So say we want to have a chat with Selena Gomez. We can go ahead and click on her here. We don't have any messages with Selena Gomez yet, but we should be able to create one. And so we can say hello and send her a message. And it shows up, we've got a text message. This would get connected to the API and send out a message to Selena, but we don't have this, I don't have this part implemented yet, so that part will have to be coming up here shortly in the future. But say, some of my fake messages over here that we had created in the chat fragment here. So some of these messages will actually work with, say, Godot. We can look at some messages that we've been sending back and forth. And so here we have some messages, and if I want to send another message to Gal, I can say, some sort of message to her, and go ahead and hit send, and it'll show up there at the bottom. We also, if we haven't sent a message yet, with this where we're also showing who we're talking to, this can be changed to add a picture here maybe, if we like, whatever that preference would be. But we can still send messages here and talk to people. So we also, if it's empty, we could add a note here that says something like start a conversation with Ashley and see where things go, or something along those lines that would pop up in the case that we don't have any messages that we've sent with her back and forth yet. So that is for that's for the functionality. You can also see here that we've got this sort of formatting, which is the other part of the Taiga page. So we can go ahead and bring back up the Taiga page. I should be able to go to the web here. Yep. And so this is the other part, was the formatting of the messages in the adapter here. So yep, we can do that. We've done that. So we've got some red, like a conventional sort of text messaging over here, and we've got some blue outlining for the text messaging over here. Notice that the previous message that I sent did not come back, and that's because like I said, I still need to implement this into sending a message out to the API and populating the local database so that the messages are available locally and remotely. That's some work that's going to have to happen in the future. But you can see that they are formatted like a text message. One thing that might be helpful here is to actually put the date somewhere here when it was sent, like you can see on typical text messages, so that you can have a time frame of when these messages were sent and sort of have a history of the communication. But it's on its way. I don't think it looks too bad. We might want to change its background color to match this background color or something along those lines. A very easy thing to do. And so that's essentially the work that I've been doing this week, so or this sprint. So we'll go ahead and conclude the work that I've been doing. Okay, and so now we'll go ahead and move on to Braden. So we'll go ahead and bring up the correct screen here. So first we'll start with the sprint. So with the sprint information for Braden, we can see he's got these cards here in Taiga. He had sent me his application to run, and I was able to run it, but I do get an error on my Mac. But I'm certain it's on my side. I'm running out of memory on my computer, on my Mac computer here, and I had to bring up Xcode and install more stuff when I went to run it. And there's a point in it where I get a bit of an issue that occurs, but I'm sure he's not getting that issue on his side, and that everything is working smoothly on his side. We'll go ahead and run through his cards here, so we can see integrating the swipeable cards into the card database. And so the cards would be the user, the list of users. Those are typically individual cards that are in a list. We've got the start UI for the messaging view, and so this is bringing up a view that will show the messages from each user that would be in the list, integrating the database into the message view. So this would be taking those chats and integrating them into the database. And then also you can see this last one here is actually implementing an API call for this as well, which is the same thing I was showing in my the same thing that I'm trying to do in mine as well. So we're aligned on trying to get this chat interface implemented. And but since I wasn't able to get it to run, I was able to take screenshots, and so I'll go ahead and go over to the screenshots, and we'll go ahead and move to where we start here. So I need to go the other direction. So when you load up the iOS app, this is you get a screen with login information, and you can click the login, and it brings you here to his swipeable card interface. We can see we also have this this messages icon down here. And so when we click on that messages icon, we can see that we end up in this matches screen. So these are the swipeable cards that we were talking about. And he's got room for a picture here and some information. You got an arrow when you click over on the person. You will get a chat view that will come up, which was one of the cards in Taiga that he also mentioned. And so we've got this this chat started, you can see here, and you've got a way to start chatting and send that information out. And so when you do that, it brings up the soft keyboard. But this is where I get my issue. I think the issue I'm having is also has to do with Realm, which is a database that I haven't installed or anything like that on my computer, so on my Mac computer. So I don't think it's an issue on his side. I think it's just because on my Mac computer I'm running his app, and my settings are probably not matching what his settings are. But that should be an easy thing to sort of get resolved. But yeah, so you can see we're making progress on all these fronts, getting the chat implementation working. And getting the API calls working. I think the future for the next few sprints here is going to be a lot of integration type work where we're getting the back end to collaborate more with the front end. And so we're working on getting a lot more API calls to work, and I know I have some bugs with like the GPS side of things, as Braden mentioned in the last sprint in the last sprint report, that I still need to get resolved because of Google. But hopefully we can get these things resolved, get the APIs up and working, and keep getting closer and closer to getting to a more final first revision of this application. So thanks everybody for watching the video and checking out our work, and let us know what you think, and we'll go from there. Appreciate everybody's time. Thanks, and